Hey guys, I want to make more content on my channel, so I'm going to try something a little bit different format. There's a guy DIY 3D printing tech who's talking about making a business and interweaving it with 3D printing or just being a maker. I have a little bit of experience in this, and I wanted to share something that I think is wise in a different way, a business not to do. You always hear these gurus talking about how to start a business or do this or do that. You never hear gurus talk about things that are really, in my opinion, just never going to make money. And a lot of businesses are in this category. So, uh, when you're trying to start a business, you want something that you can quickly produce and flip as fast as possible. If you're doing custom work, that's nearly impossible. So I started a business. I started buying stuff from China, making some products in my business locally. We follow a recipe, and for the most part, I've had a lot of success in that. I started a sign shop about 2.5 years ago. I bought a very expensive printer, and I started printing vinyl banners, decals, because I thought the profit margins were good. I needed a printer for some of my projects at my shop, so I bought the printer to serve my other business and then to fork off into its own business. And what I've realized is that custom work is very difficult to make money on, because it's not difficult to make money on, it's difficult to scale. So the best way I could put it is that you get a lot of people who want something made. I have no shortage finding demand. Where I have an issue is the customer doesn't know what they want. They want a banner, for example, but they don't know what size. They usually don't have artwork, so you got to design the artwork. And then you start the spiel, well, how big do you want it? And then they retort, well, how big can you get it? You see how it goes? And then you're like, well, 4x5 is, we charge like $40 for a 4x5. That's with them providing their own artwork. And in their mind, that's a lot of money, even though it's actually on the very low end of the scale, because they didn't know how much the banner cost. They were a little shocked. So, if I could go back in a time machine, and I think a lot of people, business people, would agree with me that they probably wouldn't do custom work as an option to start your own business. Now, if you're a plumber and you know plumbing, then you have no choice but to start a plumbing business, right? And if you are a carpenter doing kitchens and cabinets remodeling and all that stuff, you have no choice but to do kitchens and cabinets and remodeling. But if you're a person who's technically smart, maybe you got a 3D printer and a laser cutter, I wouldn't take jobs from people who wanted me to 3D print objects. I wouldn't take jobs from people who wanted me to laser cut wood. Those are just going to be money pits. They're going to be waste of your time. You'll always be haggling over price. You'll have to explain the same. When you 3D print, it comes easy to you. You get an STL, you chop it up. You'll have people who will send you stuff that's not easily printable. You'll have to explain to them, and in your mind, it's common sense why it don't work, but they still don't get it. Dealing with business owners is another pain in the ass. Most people who start a business, and I use the word most because I think a lot of them, have a tendency to be just cheap. Even if their business does well, let's say you create a banner for a 3x8 banner for $48, which is dirt cheap. Somehow they instinctively want to say, well, what about $24? And I promise I'll be, loyal to you forever. You run into a lot of that, and they have no loyalty, just so you know. They'll just get it cheap from you and then do the same thing to someone else. So, after you put in the time of design and then printing and then hemming and grommeting and making the banner for the $48, you probably spent 3 hours of your day, and you really don't have the energy or time to scale it, nor can you scale it because it's custom work. See the problem? And there's a lot of margin in that $48, like a 3x8 banner, depending on how much ink and what size of roll I use. It might cost me $12 of material and ink, but I sell it for 48. So there's margin in that aspect, but once you put your personal time into it, you kind of break even. In many ways, even take a loss. It doesn't give you time to really build a marketing strategy around it. I'm compressing a lot of this for the YouTube video. I know people who do cabinet making and do pest control And even those, like pest control, that's not to me custom work. It's a routine that you can structure a strategy around. Granted, you got to drive up to the location, etc., and do the work. If you think you're going to take a 3D printer or a laser cutter or even a CNC machine and open a job shop or whatever, unless you have experience doing that and billing people and dealing with the personality types, and keep in mind, you got to keep your own personality has to be able to match theirs. What you mean you need a file to go cut some laser wood? I can't just write it on a napkin. I come over there, you could just cut it out real quick and do all that stuff for me. I got about maybe $25, and maybe we can cut out something that'd be really cool, and I swear I'll send all my friends your way. We'll do tons of business with you. Actually, it's me, Cletus, again. I just opened up my wallet and I just found out I only got $5. So, you think we can still do the job? If you don't have the ability to do that, you're already sunk before you even started. I'm not a rigid person. I'm a very flexible person. I'm a really intelligent person. That sounds so cheesy to say. I'm not into the game of haggling. In my mind, either you want it or you don't want it. It's a binary decision. And a lot of people live in the gray area space where I'm more binary, and that binary comes with some flexibility. Like, if you make it easy for me, then I'll make it easy for you. But a lot of these hagglers, if anything, someone that haggles makes it harder for you to do business in a lot of ways. I would say someone that haggles is really difficult to work with all the way around. Yeah, I need a sign. I need it for, well, what's your price? I saw on the website it was $20. I'm just wondering if you could do it for about $12, and I'm gonna need it today, maybe in the next hour. I don't have the file, and I need it in the highest quality that you possibly can do. Yeah, and I'm gonna need you to deliver it because I'm gonna be busy, so if you can deliver it over at my place instead, that'd be great. I'd love to hear from you. Like, if their opening line is, can you go any lower after you just met them, it's not a client you want. You want to get in the habit of being able to, if you're going to do custom work and custom design and custom graphics and anything custom, you got to really early on in the quoting, from when they first call you or send you an email to where you produce a product, the earlier you can get that person out of your hair, the better. The earlier you can gauge that that's a difficult customer, the better off you'll be. Other people, like there's another sign shop operator near me, we're chummy. His philosophy is that you cannot turn away any business. You should try to turn every walk-in into a customer. I disagree. I'm into building scalability, so I don't want to take customers that take me away from scaling. I'm never going to scale that thing. There's another sign shop operator that I used to use for my retail business, and he can't even afford a printer. Like, he doesn't even have the money to print on vinyl, and he's been doing it 20 years. His truck's really run down. He looks tired. He looks like he's 100 years old. So you just kind of know when I call them grinder businesses, where you're just always going to be working for pennies, whether you're mowing grass or making signs or, doing hair and nails. Those businesses, to me, they're just going to grind you into the ground. Good businesses have something that you could copy and repeat, and then you can form a assembly line around it, so to speak. So you got to figure out something unique or in demand and be able to resell that, or a marketing strategy that you can, let's say you're selling Ender 3D printers, and maybe you're not the cheapest game in town, at least you could figure out how to build a strategy around marketing that Ender 3 so people want to buy it from you instead of buying it from GearBest or whatever. Hopefully this saves somebody a headache. The key takeaway is just stay away from any gig that's custom work. It'll just save you a lot of headache. If you do custom work, you're going to have to get used to gauging people, and you're going to have to be a lot more rigid than you'd like to be. I hope this helps somebody. Good night and good luck, guys. I'm back again, and I wanted to add to the last video, it's going to be the same video for you, but it's like 2 days have passed since I made it. I want to add that it's not necessarily that custom work in and of itself is bad, and after editing the first half, I realized I should add to this, make it make more sense, because until you've done it, you won't understand. It's not necessarily that custom work per se is bad. Like I use a plumber and a carpenter, and those also have their own issues like quoting and all that other stuff. Custom work with a creative component, and that's what I really should say. Custom work and creativity combined, it's bad stuff, man. Graphics designers, as it is, don't find a hard time getting paid, and people think you're playing on a computer. In addition, have you ever had somebody who doesn't know jack shit about using a computer over your shoulder while you try to help them design a graphic? When you move the mouse over certain parts of the screen, they're like, "What are you doing? Go back down, go back down." You're like, "I gotta click save," or Control S is the keyboard shortcut. But you get what I'm saying, right? So you run into issues like, I don't like that font. And then they see you click the font thing and pick another font, and they realize it can scroll. Now they want you to go through and show them every single font on your computer. Boy, if I knew back then what I know now, I would have not tried to build a sign shop. So now I'm going to leave it off here. I added an extra 2 minutes to this freaking video, but I think it was worth it. And, good videos have even better comments. So leave a comment. If you're in this situation or you understand where I'm coming from, let's talk about it. I get a lot of information from the videos and the comments people leave. Have a good night, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.